Hello crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'm going to show you how I made this card, which I'm going to be calling Triple Point Card. I couldn't find out who the original designer of this card is, so I don't really know who to give credit to, and nobody seems to know what it's really called, which is why I've decided on triple points, because it's triple points down there. Okay, you open the card up and this is what it's like inside. It is really lovely. I have really got carried away with making this actually. Normally I have one card to show you, sometimes two, very rarely do I have three. So there's that one, which is using Sweet as a Peach Sweet, and this is a really nice masculine one using the Wild Cats. And the main difference between these two is that I've used the same designer series paper on all pieces, with just a plain one for the writing. This one I've used two different designs, that one and that one. I've also made this one, which I'm not so happy with, and this is using the Pansy Patch. I think the pansy is a bit too fancy for this bit here, so I may remove this bit and put stamped images of pansies on there. But for now it's good, and that's what it's like on the inside. On this one, where it's the same as that, what happened here was I put two extra strips of the cardstock to make it look like a gap. And this one here, the reason that's got this one is because when I was adhering this, I dropped it and I got glue all over the white piece, which I wanted like this. And when I was removing the adhesive, I actually tore the cardstock, so I brought that back out and used that, which I quite like because it's light enough to write on. So, and I do want to put some of my bumblebee trinkets on here, but I've only got two left. I've got another 2 packets ordered, so I'm going to save those two for today's card. Okay, so there's those 3 that I've made, and I'm really looking forward to making this next one. Just excuse me while I pick up a piece of paper that I've dropped on the floor. There we go. Right, okay, so I'm going to tell you the card pieces that you're going to be needed. I'm going to tell you the measurements in inches for A4 cardstock users. Once I've finished the video, in the box below the video, I will put also the metric measurements for A4 cardstock users and inches for US cardstock users, US letter size cardstock users, although if you've got a 12 by 12 sheet you can use these sizes. So to start off with, I have a piece of Highland heather which measures 11.5 inches by 5 3/4 inches, scored and folded at 5 3/4 inches. I have a piece of Whisper White which measures 5.5 inches by 5.5 inches, which is going to be going on the inside. I have a piece of hand-penned designer series paper which measures 5 3/8 inches by 5 3/8 inches. I have another piece of Whisper White which measures 5 1/4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. I have a piece of designer series paper which measures 5 inches by 5 inches. And then for the doily, what I do is I die cut the one in my main cardstock colour, and then I cut just the plain sheet in white underneath, because I think that shows it off a lot better than leaving as the lacy look, because it gets a bit lost with the blue underneath. I'll show you what I mean as we get there. So you will need 2 pieces of cardstock, one in Highland heather, one in Whisper White, that measure approximately 4 inches by 4 inches. And then you will need a scrap for whatever you do for the centre of your circle, and also a scrap for your sentiment. So what I'm going to start doing first is Now if you've got your pieces of paper in this order, those 4 main pieces, so you've got them in sizes, okay, and you've got this one at the bottom. This is what we're going to start working on. Right, let me just clear a space here. What we need to do is to cut all of our points. So the first thing is to do pencil marks where we're going to do our cutting down to. And on this first piece, let me get my pencil. Did I put it away? Did I leave it out? Oh yes, I left it out. Okay. And I'm also going to be using my ruler for this. Because I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. I could use my pad down here, but you can't actually see my measurements. So first of all, the card needs to be measured along the bottom here at 2 7/8 inches. So that's 2 7/8. Can you see that? Yep, that's good. And then with the largest piece of white, you don't need to do anything to it. I've written no on there because on one of my cards I did do the wrong thing on that. Then on the next piece, that's your largest piece of designer series paper. Now this is a little bit difficult because it's 5 3/8 inches. Half of that is actually 2 11/16 of an inch, and I don't like giving you 16ths, and I've already done it twice recently. So an easy way of doing this, it's okay for me because I've got my ruler, but the easy way of doing it, if you don't want to be worried about 16ths, is this is the bottom of my designer series paper. Very loosely, don't squash this bit, the curvy bit, but just put those 2 points together so your sides line up, and then if you very carefully just squeeze that corner there, okay, and that will give you your 11/16, if you can see it. There we go. Okay, so I've got my pencil mark there, and this piece, which is your 5 1/4 by 5 1/4, half of that is 2 5/8. So 2 5/8. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this one, it's 5 by 5, so that's 2 1/2 inches. She's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's all my pencil marks. So I'm going to bring my trimmer over. Right, you don't actually need to see the top, do you? You just need to see what I'm working on. So where's my pencil mark gone? Oh, there it is. So what we need to do is we need to cut from that top corner there down to the point, and that corner down to here. Let's just make sure that I'm fully in the screen. So where's my pencil mark gone? It's there. In fact, I haven't done it right down to the edge, have I? There we have now. That's okay. Right, that one's all right. That's okay. Now save that, and the other side. And save that. And let me do it on this side. I'm not sure you can actually see it, can you? No, all right. I'll show you on this side what I'm doing. I'll just move it up a bit. Okay, so they are my 3 pieces. Now I'm going to do this piece here. Again, my pencil mark is there, so I'm going to cut from that corner there. So that one and that one. That piece is going to be going under that one. That one there. Did that move? Don't think so. That one did. Let's try that again. Okay, so that one's going under there. And that one's going under there. So that's going to be for the top. Inside the card it's going to be that. I'm not removing the no that I've written there because it's going to be covered up anyway. So there's my pencil mark. That's it. So that will go onto there. That is going there. Now that could go there, but it's not really light enough to write on, so I don't know about that one yet. So that can go up there. And then this one, we have our pencil mark. So I'm going to line up just below the score line there. And just down to the pencil mark at the bottom here. Sometimes I clutch hold of this so tight I can't move the other end. There we go. So that one is going to be going under those two. Let's do the other side. That one's in. That's correct. And then this one is going to be going under that. And these two will be going onto here. Okay, so we're going to do that next. Get all our pieces adhered together. I'm going to start on the inside first. Just move the bumblebees out of the way. So I can just bring this in. Right, so that's the wrong side. You can use tape runner if you like, or you could use your Terran tape. I like the Tombow because it does give you a little bit of wiggle room to give you time to get your cardstock in position. Now the gap should be about the same all the way around. And straight. I think so. Now with these two pieces, when you adhere these on, you should have your regular 1/8 of an inch gap on that side and on that side, and they should meet up in the middle. Okay, so let's do this bit. looks about right. Put it down just a tad. Yes, that's it. That looks straight. Let's try the other one. I have to say I've had so much fun doing this card. It is surprisingly easy to get such a stunning effect. My favourite without a doubt is the Sweet Peach one, although I particularly like the male one as well. If I don't like the male one, it's only that I prefer to have the two different kinds of designer series paper. I love the actual design of the masculine one. There we go. Okay, so that meets up okay. In fact, there should be some pencil marks on there. Although I suppose it's possible to have cut them off. Oh yes, that's gone. Pencil mark here. Okay, so now we can do the pieces to go on the front here. So let's do the pattern first. This is a very easy card to make from the point of view it's very easy to decide how to cut your triangles. You can start off with any square for your card that you want. I've done 5 3/4 square because that fits an A4 sheet nicely. You won't be able to get 2 cards out of one sheet, mind you. You just have to remember that whatever size square you've got, like 5 3/4 by 5 3/4, to get your triangle, first of all you've got to allow yourself your gap around the edge, which ours was 1/4 of an inch, so that was 5 3/4. This was 5 1/2, and then the next one needs to be 1/8 of an inch down. But always remember, halfway along here is where you do your cutting from there and there, and it'll be right every time if you do your sums right. So with the US sizes, I will do the card for 5 1/2 inches by 5 1/2 inches, and then the layers and the diamonds for that, because that's the full length. 11 inches is the full length of your sheet. There we go. That's what it's going to be looking like. Now this piece should cover up that line there, which it does. You shouldn't see any white underneath. Okay, so let's do these pieces now. I quite often on these go a bit too far into the point with my glue, and I have to wait for it to dry later on so that I can actually remove the glue that comes out. It does dry clear, but it is shiny clear. Okay, so this one has got your 1/8 of an inch all round. No, not yet. this card, it was quite funny me doing this card this week, because I'd been looking forward to doing it ever since I saw somebody's video, which was a few weeks ago, and I thought, well, I'm not going to do it yet because she'd only recently posted her video. And anyway, I had it in my mind, this is what I was going to do. And then one of my crafty friends in the US, she private messaged me and she said, can you do a card like this please? And she'd attached a video of it, and it was exactly this card. That is something that probably will never ever happen again. It's the first time it has happened. But so thank you very much for your suggestion. It was I can't really say it's a good idea because it's my idea too, but it was a good idea. I just think it's such a fabulous card. As you can imagine, it does get harder and harder to find a different fancy fold card each week. But I imagine there's probably loads of them still out there. It's just a question of finding them. There we go. So now what's going to happen is, the way you put these is very easy to remember how to put these together, because you start off by putting your card back together like that. Okay, then that one will go over that way and that one will go over that way. Alright, now what you need to remember, one is ideally don't come over the edges with your points, and make sure that these 3 points are level, because that's what the card is going to be standing on when it stands on your shelf. And my personal opinion is I think these are a lot better when they come down low like this, rather than having them go really high. But that's a matter of choice, and it's entirely up to you which way you can do it. I think whatever you decide to do, it will fit. You can do these two wherever you want that. Even if you wanted it to come up and off, you could still get this bit right. Okay, but let me show you in case you didn't notice it. Okay, so mine come here and here. They do on all of them, because I thought that is how it looks really nice. Okay, but obviously choice is yours, whichever you think looks best. Now, to put this on here, as I say, I'm going to make sure that that comes to the edge. This comes to the edge, which is where this point comes to. And I want that to come over like that. Okay, so that's coming that far. So to adhere this on, I'm going to use Tombow along that piece there. And so that I know where to put my glue, I'm using my pencil and I'm making a mark on this triangle, and it's going to be where that Designer Series paper disappears underneath, and the same this end. Okay. See, I've got 2 little pencil marks there. As always, I can't see what you can see. So I hope you can see them. So what I do next is I bring my ruler back again, and I turn my ruler for the back, and I don't actually line up these 2 pencil marks. I line them up a tad below the line. Can you see that that is lower than the edge of my ruler? Once I'm happy that those 2 are there, with my thumb I hold that piece securely, turn it over, and with my pencil just draw a line across there. Now the reason I do it like that is, one, the pencil marks are going to help me on the front here to line this up again when I want to put it back on. And also, because this is a bit higher than those pencil marks, one, it's not going to be seen when it's glued down, and two, I can take my glue up to there without worrying it oozing out down that far. I hope that makes sense. So I go as far as the line. Now if that oozes, it's only going to ooze a little bit and it won't go too far. Okay. So I'm not going to put this down until I'm reasonably happy I'm in the right position, which I can with those pencil marks there. Okay, so that can go down, that can go down. I'm going to slide it down a bit because this point isn't right down to the edge. That one's okay. Where's my pencil? Oh yes, I can see it. Okay, so that's got to be right. That pencil mark, that pencil mark, that corner and that corner. I'm just going to press all that down. Okay, now with the next one, I can only adhere it with this bit here, okay, because that's going down because of the bump there, and it's coming down because of the bump here. You could glue it, but it does mean that you'd have the hump on there, and I think it's better without. But see what you think about how I do this, and then you can decide for yourself. Now what you need to do with this one is to make sure that this triangle is about the same size as that. This point has got to come down to the edge again. That point has got to go to the edge there. And this point has got to be approximately the same as that one. Which, that looks about right for me. Moved it in a bit. I think that looks right. From my angle, that looks about the same as that. Okay, so now what you need to do, you need two sets of marks. One is where this designer series paper hits the cardstock, this piece here, and then on this side where this designer series paper comes to the cardstock, and one where this designer series paper comes to the cardstock. Oh yes, you can see that. Okay, so I'm going to do the same again with my ruler. I'm going to take the first two lines, line them up, then I'm going to slide my cardstock down. Okay, can you see that? Where the pencil marks are on the top of my ruler. No, that's the wrong way, you don't. This one, you need to do it the other way because the glue has got to be in this side here. So let's redo that. These marks have got to be above this line. Get that out of the way. Hold on, I was trying to make it as clear as possible for you. There we go. Yes, you can see that. Now with that one, I'm going to draw a line. Now with this one, I'm going to line that up again, both pencil marks, and then I'm going to slide it up. So it's just above my ruler. So I'm going to hold that in place again, and I'm going to draw my pencil mark there. Again, I'm leaving these pencil marks on until I finish gluing. So you'll see now the area that I can put my glue. I can go right up to the edge because if it does ooze a little bit, I've still got that little area that I've allowed myself. Okay, so just fill in the middle. Now this one's a little bit more tricky to line up because you've got the two sets of lines to do, but at least you do have the lines. So what I do is I tend to rest that one down and then move this one until I think the position is about right, which must be about there somewhere. Move that. That looks about right. Yes, that looks really good. Oh, bend that. Okay, so just adhere that bit down there. Okay, now remove your pencil marks. They will probably be covered up by the little doily thing that we'll be putting on. There you go. There we go, so that is your card. Now, if you, depend what designs you're using, this is where you could decide whether you actually want to put that piece in the centre. Leave a little white gap in there. I think you would need to cut off probably about 1/4 of an inch, I suppose. I want my piece, in fact what I could do, I could die cut a white shape there, couldn't I? I might do that later, I'm not sure. What I need to do first is cut a shape that I think would look nice and then just fit the two pieces in, look at it. If I decide that's good, then I would go for it. So as usual, have a look at my blog on, what's the date today? 19th, 20th, so on 20th of June. Have a look at my blog and you'll see what I've done, because I'll put photographs of all of these on there. Okay, so now that's all done. What we need now is our stamping and our die cutting for one, the sentiment. In fact, only one of these has got, oh no, two of them got a sentiment on the front. Now this is something else. I thought if I leave it like this, you can decide whether you like it with a sentiment or not. Okay, no sentiment, that's got a sentiment, and that's got a sentiment. I just feel that looks empty. I feel that it needs something in there. Again, I will probably go back and put something on there. But I am planning to put something on today's card. So let's move those back out of the way. Before I move on, I want to show you these. I've lost one, but no doubt I'll find it when I'm tidying up. The way I worked out the measurements for my triangles was I used some scrap paper and I cut triangles. That was my 5 1/4 triangle, and that was my 5 inch, which I've only got half of, and that was my 5 1/2 inch. But by doing that, I was able to work out whether that was sufficient, whether I had to go down 1/4 of an inch from that to that rather, or whether I could go down 1/8. I decided I could go down 1/8 on the inside, but 1/4 on the outside, I believe is what I did, didn't I? Yes, I did. Yeah. And I will keep that, because next time I come to make this card, I'll probably have forgotten about that. So this will be my reminder, and if I really, really forget, then I can revisit that bit. Right, I'm going to use 2 stamp sets. For my sentiment, I'm using Happy Birthday, and that's from Art Gallery. And I'm using this image for the centre of my card, which is hand-penned petals. I'm hoping to use the largest. Oh, these are retired, aren't they? Ah, okay. Right, I'll deal with that when I come to it. But I'll do it now. If you don't have these stitched shapes framelits, because they are retiring on the 30th of June, I believe, not being carried forward, so if you can get them, do. They're lovely. If you don't have them, the layering circles, that's the outside one that I'm using, the largest one, which is number 8. I wanted to bring these over to show you because this is what goes with the hand-penned. Okay, let's move these out of the way. I'll do them all at the same time, otherwise I'll forget something. Okay, so these dies, you can die cut that and you can die cut that. These little flowers, I haven't done this, but these flowers, I assume you can adhere on top of these. This is 2-step stamping, so those bobbly bits can go onto that. That leaf will colour those leaves. The bigger leaf will cover these. I think that flower is for that one. That one is for that. So on. It's all coordinated, 2-step stamping, and these are the dies that you can use for them. Okay, that looks as if it's a die cut of that. I don't know, again, haven't tried it yet, but that even on its own is nice. And you've got that fancy edge if you want to. So that's that. And the other set I wanted to show you is this is where I'm getting my, what I'm calling doilies. They're in the centre of my cards. Okay, so what I've been doing is I die cut the doily like this, and then I cut the white one with that, because they're both the same size. That fits, they fit together beautifully. All right, the other ones in here that I have, this one here will cut one big circle for you with the fancy edging. I've just layered all these together. That I cut out of the centre of that circle, which is why it is all fitted back in again. I was aware that I might not get everything fitted onto this backing, and these are 2 little individual ones. It really is a beautiful, beautiful set. It's called Encircled in Beauty, and it goes with Encircled in Friendship stamp set. So that, I think, is, and of course I will be using this for my sentiment, and this is stitched rectangles, and they are being carried forward. So we do our stamping first, I said, didn't I? Okay. So this is the image that I'm using from Hand Penned. It's 2-step, which is really very, very handy for doing videos, especially longer videos like I make. It's only really the leafy bits that need it again. The top bit is beautiful. That's it, lovely. There we go, move that out of the way, don't need that again. Close my ink. So I'll come back to that one in a moment. And the sentiment, although I do have one already, I will do one with you. Okay, so it's here. I'm using Highland Heather and Happy Birthday. There we go. That's a bit thick, don't like that. Reject. Yes, that's better. We'll have the second one. So finished with that. I'm going to need that for my flower. Okay, so When I start doing things like this, I normally have a scrap of paper with me so that I can stamp to see whether I need to stamp off first. Normally I would have done this ahead of time, but I was too busy playing, making the others. I think I will stamp off once. Okay, now if I remember rightly, this doesn't match up perfectly. Let me bring it down as close as I can. Right, you can see that. There we go. And this flower over here. Yep. Yes, that looks good. There we go. And the leaves, I've got the bigger of the two leaves. And I'm using garden green. Right, I know what I am going to be needing. In fact, I'm going to take the one that I wasn't happy with. Okay, I'll show you that in a jiffy. Right, now leaves, do I want this stamped off? I'll stamp off quickly. It's a bit darker, isn't it? Again, the leaves don't match up perfectly, and what I tend to do is to give it a little bit of difference from each other, I turn my leaves upside down. Well, only one of them's upside down. Right, now this leaf here, it stops by those flowers there, so I don't want to put this on top and go right over. So what I'm going to do is just cover up my flower like that. Okay, that worked all right. And now I want to do the same with this. I'm going to cover sideways like that. Okay, stamp off again. There we go. That's all right, isn't it? And I remember what I did last time, didn't think about it for today, but I can do it. I'm going to just colour a little bit of that stem. I don't like the stem being plain, but there isn't a stamp there to do that. So I normally use my stamping blends, and I think the best colour for this would probably be light mossy meadow. So let me see if I just get that one over. Light mossy meadow. Well, that's fine, that'll do. I'm just going to use the pen end. I'm not going to do this solid. Just want a bit of colour there, that's all. I wish we had these stamping blends in garden green. It would be nice to find that they're available in the Christmas catalogue. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Here's hoping. Right, okay, so that's that. That needs to be die cut with a circle. That's rubbish. Let's get rid of that one now. Don't need that. So what else do I need to do? I need those two. And I need that. Right. So I'm using my Big Shot. Now doing the doily, that would be much better, easier if I used my cut and emboss. But I can't work without my magnetic plate. So first of all, let's do this one. Now I think I'm going to have to cut a bit off. Hopefully it's only going to be some of the stalk. Now how far does that come over there? That loses lots of it, doesn't it? Who did I do this with? That left a nice amount, but I think, was it the... Oh, I know, it was another card that I did, wasn't it? I wonder if I can get away with using... The next one down's not going to be any good. I'm going to use the number 7 from here. I think that's okay, don't you? Let's give it a try. It's not going to be a stitched one, but never mind. Right. Oh, that's all right. Okay, it's cut there and there, but that's all right. And that's going to be fitting over there. So still get quite a lot of the doily showing. That's okay. I'll be happy with that. So I don't need that anymore, nor that. That was number 7. And this is for the doily. And this is for the layer. And there's just that one, which I'm going to use as stitched rectangles. There we go. Right, when I go over the doily part, I'm using a shim, which is something I wouldn't have to do if I was using my cut and emboss. But for something as delicate as this, on my machine, my Big Shot, I do. There we go. Okay, so that's a plain white one, which is going to be our layer. I always put my middle back in again. In fact, I'm not going to need... Yes, I do need it again, don't I? I need that one. Okay, let me just clear that off a bit. There we go. Well, looking from the side here, that looks good. If it doesn't, not to worry, I will use my standby. Oh, I think that's all right. That looks straight, doesn't it? All right, let's put this away. Now, this is a tool I haven't used for ages, but I have found that it did come in very handy for this one. This is one of my Take Your Picks. I've got two of them so that I don't have to change my ends. I've got my spatula on that end, and on this one I've got my sticky bit to pick up my gems, and that one's got my paper piercer bit on it. I thought the price they are, they're cheap enough to treat myself to. Oh, you know what you've forgotten to do? You were busy using that one to cut the white out, but you forgot to do that. Okay. It wouldn't be one of my videos, would it, if I did everything perfectly? Right, let's move that. Now this is going to be fun, trying to put that back in the same position. In fact, what I might do, I wonder if it'll be easier if I put the fancy one back in again first. Might be, mightn't it? Because that's what I'm used to. Let's try. Yep, that's in place. Now this has got point and then flat, point and flat all the way round, so it makes lining this up really quite easy. And then just need to make sure that you've got the same gap all the way round. Obviously I don't get a very good view of this being so close. Let's have a look, because I don't have one on standby, which might have been a good idea. Never mind, we just rely that I'm going to do it correctly. Right, let's see what happened there. In fact, let's move that away. Then you can see what I'm doing. Ah, that's more like it. Oh dear, I went a bit too close there. Let's hope that was the only one. It took a little shaving off of the heart there. Right, let's move that out of the way. And I'm going to run this back over with my brush. There are some bits there that have been shaved. But it is very, very close, so I don't think it'll notice. We'll find out. I think that's it. Right. Put that in the bin. I'll tidy that one up later. Right, so now I need to put this onto this one, and then I put this into the centre, and then I will pop that in. So what you really need right now, your best friend, is going to be a tub of Tombow that is coming out really, really slowly. Let's see if this would do it for me again. With what I was able to do. Oh, come on, please. I'm making a video. Please behave. Oh, that looks like it. That's it. I was able to go round and just put a little dab of Tombow all the way round. I have to say these dabs are slightly bigger than what I have been having. But never mind. I'll do some at the bottom as well. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to dab this onto a piece of paper so I can take the excessive amount off, or at least most of the excess bit. Okay, that's about right, I think. Yes, that's definitely coming out a lot quicker than it was before. Right, this is my bit of paper from before. If you do that, don't leave it down too long because it does stick quite quickly. It sticks quite quickly like that because if you've given it a press, that's when Tombow starts working, really working. Alright, so it's quite easy to get that on. But then bring it up to face you because you can see where it doesn't all line up and you just need to give it a little bit of a slide. Logically, if one part lines up, it should all. But there we go, I think that's okay. You want to move, okay. Otherwise I'm happy with that. Now I'm going to put that back in so that when I put that on there's not a dip underneath it. Okay, so there's that one. It doesn't matter, there's a gap in there because this one will cover it up. Now what I do with this is, before I start putting my glue on, when this goes on to there, I always have the pointy bit up, top and bottom. So that will be going on there. And then I have a look to see what is centre. For example, that's got one dot showing, that's got two dots showing. So you've got to have 1.5 dots showing. There, there. Okay, so that's about right all the way round. That's what I'm aiming for. It's 1.5 dots where there's 2. And remembering that the pointy bit is the top bit. The flowers don't have to be straight up, so I'm tilting mine slightly. 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, 1.5. There we go. There we go. That looks nice, doesn't it? So now I meant to show you what the lacy bit looked without the backing on, didn't I? I always do something wrong. Never mind. So I'm going to put this on here with dimensionals, which are here, and I aim to get my dimensionals to fit in the gaps here, okay? So I know that this one here, the top one, I know that I need one of the small ones, because I've done so many of these now. I also know that this one should be there, not the straight one next to it, not the pointy one, but the one after, but on this side, and the same on this one. A way to check it is to put it like that. Yep. Yep. And what I aim to do is to have these so it doesn't show through when the card is opened. Okay, so once I've got those in place, I know this big one opposite, that just needs one large dimensional, just one. Oh, for goodness sake, come on. One jumped on top of the other then, now I can't get it separated. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue on here as well, because I've only got 4 dimensionals here, and it's only really to support the outsides. And I put the glue on here rather than this, because I might put it in the wrong place, like that. Goes there. I should have made the flower a bit more tilted. That looks as if I haven't got it straight. There is a difference, believe me. Okay, so there's that. Then we want this one. Now, this is what I mean, they've got on top of each other. Yes, good, good, good. And the dimensionals fit if you put them straight edges. And I just need to do the bumblebees. It was quite easy doing the one with the gingham, it helped me get it perfectly straight. But now I think that's okay, isn't it? That's good. So that's that. Get rid of these. Bring my 2 bumblebees in. There's one. Come on. Okay. I like to put a glue dot on them first and then just a little bit of Tombow. Oops, that didn't pick up. Oops, I'm going to put one out here so he can be seen. That's it. And I'll put one on a flower. That's it. Oops, that's too much. Oops. That's it. There we go. this is today's project. Don't you agree with me? This is an absolutely fabulous card. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Now this is what a card looks like if you don't put the stripes down the side, okay? I've left that because partly I didn't think about it, and partly because it does give you the chance to have a view of that. So there we go. I hope you really enjoyed today's project. I have absolutely loved working on it. If you have any questions or any comments to make, please leave them in the box below the video. I'm always happy to answer any questions you have, and also I do enjoy reading your comments. In the box below I'll also put all the measurements, that's inches and metric for A4 cardstock users and inches for letter size cardstock users. By the way, I call that NA, which is North America, because I believe it's only North America that uses letter size cardstock, although I'm welcome you to correct me if I am wrong. And I will also put a list of all the products that I've used in the box below, together with links to my 24/7 Stampin' Up online shop. And if you do shop with me, first of all, thank you very much. But during June, please use this HOSTESS code, so when I send you your happy mail at the beginning of July, I can also include some free product for you as well. If you've enjoyed my video and would like to be notified each time I upload a new one, please click on the subscribe button down there in the bottom right hand corner, and then click on the bell so that you get the notifications. Many thanks for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you next time. In the meantime, please take care, stay safe. See you next week. Cheerio.